Black sand beaches, crystal clear water, rainforests, zip lining, and volcanoes. I know what you're thinking. I just described paradise, right? Not quite, but I did describe Costa Rica, which in my opinion is just as good. In 2010, I was fortunate enough to go to Costa Rica with my family, and I was truly astounded by the beautiful country. So obviously I had no hesitation choosing a country for this speech. In this speech, I'm going to inform you about the culture in Costa Rica. First, I'm going to tell you about the geographic and political structure. Second, about the cultural aspects. And lastly, I'm going to tell you about the general attitude of Costa Ricans. Costa Rica is only a 4-hour plane ride away, but it's a world away compared to what we're used to in the United States. Compared to the United States, both the political and literal environmental climate are much milder. Costa Rica is a democratic republic, but with one popularly elected president and 2 vice presidents. It also has a legislative and judicial branch, but it has to have 50% women in their Congress. According to Culturgram's online section on Costa Rican government, this gender-based quota from 2010 actually does encourage greater participation of women in political parties, which I think is interesting. What's also interesting is that Costa Rica doesn't have a national military. They do have a National Guard to protect the country, but they're limited in the weapons that they're allowed to use. This may seem out of the ordinary to us, but Costa Rica prides itself on peace and relaxation. Costa Rica has a very nice climate with many different landscapes. According to Culturgram's online in the section on land and climate, the average year-round temperature is only 81 degrees. This sounds extremely mild, especially compared to what we're used to in Texas. But since it's so close to the equator, it doesn't have actual seasons. But the rainy season is from May all the way to November. And I can attest to that because when I visited in July, it rained almost the whole time. I guess they don't call it a rainforest for nothing. Their mild climate allows its inhabitants and tourists to enjoy the vast and diverse landscapes. Costa Rica is actually only the size of West Virginia, but it does have really diverse scenery in that space. It has over 700 miles of beaches, plus tropical rainforests and volcanoes. This ensures that if you visit Costa Rica, you'll never get bored because there's always something different to see. With this diverse landscape comes great diversity among its people. Costa Rica is a country that's very focused on colorful art. According to Culturgram's online section on Costa Rican art, they are extremely well known for brightly painted ox carts and carved wooden masks. The masks were originally used to ward off invaders, but the real standout here are the ox carts, or berretas as they call them. In the 2012 Celebrating Latino Folklore Encyclopedia, Mauricio Espinosa Quesada explains that ox carts are extremely unique. They used to be an actual form of transportation, but now they just represent the culture and they're actually the national symbol of work. Their art may be boisterous and loud, but their diet is a little more muted. According to the Culturgram's online section on Costa Rican diet, their typical cuisine is a tad plain and focuses on rice and beans for every meal, with some occasional plantains. I know when I visited the resort I stayed at served plantains with every single meal, which was weird to me. To jazz it up a little bit, they eat a lot of citrus fruits like pineapple and mango and papaya, and a lot of coffee. Costa Rica loves their coffee. The Costa Rican diet may sound plain to us, but it makes sense when you actually evaluate their take on life. Costa Rica is extremely laid back. According to the Culturgram's online entry about Costa Rica in the section on general attitudes, Costa Rica is a land of courtesy, hospitality, and gentleness. This is evidenced by their lack of military. Costa Rica values peace and tranquility over violence and confrontation, which I think is commendable in this day and age. To describe this particular mindset, they use the phrase pura vida, or pure life. This is the testament to their laid-back existence. Costa Rica prides itself on living extremely minimally, or pure, if you will. While Costa Rica may not seem glamorous on paper, it certainly does have a very unique and calming way of life. In conclusion, in this speech I told you about Costa Rica's political and environmental climate, I told you about their cultural aspects, and I told you about their take on life. Next time you plan your tropical vacation, you could go on a typical cruise, drink a pina colada by the pool and gamble, or you could take a chance on adventure and go to Costa Rica and experience the Pura Vida for yourself. Thank you.
Very good.